Hey guys, today we are going to make a coffee themed card, and one of my favorite things to do on coffee themed card is to make a coffee spilled background. And you could do this the old-fashioned way and stain paper with coffee stuff, and I actually have never done it, so I'm sure there's more to it than that, but I prefer a different method. I like to use distress inks. So let me show you today this technique. It also features using distress glaze, which is kind of a fun thing to play with. So let's get started. What you're going to need is some glossy cardstock. So I already cut these down to be 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, so just shy of an A2. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to smush some ink onto my glass mat. And it's important that you work on something that is non-porous, so that the pigment and the color sits on top of the surface of the glass mat. Then I'm going to spray this with water. And this is where the magic happens. Then you can start dipping your paper, and it's every background you make is going to be different. So I like to just kind of smush it around, and you can dip them more than once. So this is still mostly white. Just go back in, pick up more color. You can also set this aside to dry. So I'm going to set this aside to dry and see if I like it. And then if I don't, I just go back in and pick up even more color. So I cut several of these pieces of cardstock so that I could keep going back in and getting more. Now it looks like my rusty hinge is kind of taking over a smidgen. So I'm going to just clean up a little bit, not going to clean it all up. And I'm going to add in the walnut again and the vintage photo because I want more browns. And now we're getting brown again in our lifts. Now I think this is important to point out. This technique you can do ink smushing with distress ink, but if you're going to use this technique with distress glaze, it does need to be the oxides. I don't think it works with the regular ink, and there's a reason we use the oxides. You're going to see when you use the glaze, it really adds a cool feature. It's kind of neat. Might let that one dry too. So you don't have to cover the whole thing. The white, kind of the drip drop look on that white background is part of the magic. So I'm going to do some each way. I think I've used up most of this ink. So again, I'm going to start. I might speed this up. I'm going to do all 12 panels I colored or cut. I'm going to do all 12 panels, and I will show you what they all turn out like in the end. All right, so here are some of our coffee panels. What do you think, guys? If you just went, oh, that didn't turn out the way I thought it would, you are right, but we're not done yet. That's putting the ink on the paper is only part of it. The distress glaze is the next part, and it's going to make a huge difference. So everything looks kind of cloudy, foggy, and that is like a property of distress oxide inks. When they oxidize, they kind of come up with this like milky, cloudy, I don't know, color to it, hue, and you know, it isn't very attractive. It's like color in a fog. So let me show you how to use distress glaze, and it's going to take the fog away. And this is the distress glaze. I've had this forever. My kids will probably use it. If I go through all of this, you know, who knows. But I'm just taking a little dauber. I'm just swirling this lightly. You don't want gobs of it. You just kind of want to coat the bottom of the sponge. And then you're going to buff your surface. So I'm buffing this, and it's going to start to take the fog off of my cardstock. So there's half of it done, half of it not done. I don't know if you can see that, but look at the reds are starting to brighten up, and it does take a few seconds. It doesn't happen like instantly. It soaks into the paper. But you're just buffing that in there. And now look at, here's the after, and look at the before. Can you guys see that on the camera? The difference? Let me see if I can hold them up. So this is the after and this is the before. This is very cloudy and now this is brown again. So let me do this one real quick. These do have to dry a little bit. They're kind of sticky, and when they're dry, they go back to feeling like glossy paper. I did some of the backgrounds off camera. I can thumb through and show you. I'll just kind of go through them real fast, just so you can see the variation. But I think all of them look like coffee. So you can pause it if there's any one that you just really want to see. And I think this is my favorite one, but they're all great. So I'm putting my card together. I picked out a panel and I've glued it to my ivory cardstock base. And in my original, I want to show you this, I stamped a branch, but guys, if I don't know if you can tell by the way that it looks, this was a struggle. Stamping on Distress Glaze, it's kind of like the ink doesn't want, it's like slippery. It just doesn't want to stay there. So when I was like, well, I'm going to remake this card, I decided that I was definitely not going to stamp on this panel again. So what I did was I die cut a branch. I'm going to figure out how far I want that branch to go. And I already colored and cut out my little owl. He is just adorable. And I'm also going to change up how I do my sentiment. So in my original, I put the whole sentiment on the front, but this time I cut my stamp in half. I stamped half of it on the inside of the card, and then I'm going to put the beginning of the joke on the outside of the card. This way, I think it extends the laugh and just, it, you know, adds a little extra something to the card. So I'm going to start gluing all these things down, and I'll show you when it's finished. All right, here you go, guys. They're all done. This is the one we just made in this video. I love the updated version. I love this technique with the Distress Oxides and the Glaze. I hope you guys give it a try. It is addictive, I warn you. You will make tons and tons of panels. I could see this done in all like blues, like water splashing in the background. What a cool thing that would be. I might give that a try the next time I get these out. I always love to hear what you guys think, and I hope you guys learned something. Have a great day, guys, and I will see you the next card.